that you come up with? I mean, there's this one, there were some other ones that you've come up with since announcing your candidacy. Do these proposals add bureaucracy to the office? Are they going to add more people and more bureaucracy at a time when maybe a lot of people want to see more money going to law enforcement at that end of the Attorney General's office?
That's a very good question. First of all, let me say that this proposal is the result of numerous conversations, both before I became a candidate and after I became a candidate, from residents, the average Ohioans, if you will, in the state of Ohio, that are insistent that something has to be done to restore integrity and public confidence in the political process in the state. The last 3 years have been just absolutely politically chaotic, and the taxpayers, the residents of the state are fed up and they want some solutions, they want the issues addressed. And so what these proposals are, the proposal that we're setting forth today, is an attempt to address issues that are being raised by the citizens of the state of Ohio. Now, with respect to the question of whether it adds to the bureaucracy, let me tell you as I stand here, anyone that knows me and my time in and out of government understands that the absolute last thing I want to do is add another level of bureaucracy. The nice thing about this proposal is that, again, the people that we suggest need to be placed on this commission are all either elected office holders or a representative from one of the 2 U.S. Attorney's office. So we will have a commission that's comprised of people that are already elected or people that are already serving in the United States Department of Justice. Secondly, the prosecutors that will be handling the case will will be a cost to us, because what we would propose to the legislature that would happen is that if David Jones, as an example, has an assistant county prosecutor that's just an extraordinary young prosecutor, and she wants to come and serve on the commission as one of the Public Integrity Council, that we would pick up the cost of that salary. There's not going to be any other costs associated with the people that are appointed to the commission. So you'd have 2 prosecutors, for starters, that would be a cost, okay? The BCI agents that would be dedicated to that commission to conduct the investigations are already being paid by the state. So while I haven't had a chance to run the numbers by our budget people, I suggest to you that the cost is minimal, will not add another level of bureaucracy, and most importantly will allow us to address an issue that is of extreme concern to the taxpayers of the state of Ohio. I mean, I know you folks get out and get around and you talk to people, but I have to tell you that Ohioans are not only embarrassed, but they're very upset by this parade of incompetence and corruption that they've had to be submitted or subjected to over the last 3 years. This is one step along the path of trying to address that issue.
Do you think this commission would have uncovered things in Mark Dan's office, given that he himself distinguished personal misbehavior from political corruption?
Yeah, that's a really good question too. I think if we'd had this commission in place at that time, James, the first thing that would have happened, the General Assembly would not have to be called back in a special session and pass an emergency amendment to the IG bill and then have the governor run across the street and sign it. I mean, we would have had a mechanism, a vehicle, if you will, in place that would have allowed us to immediately address that whole issue of incompetence and corruption in the Attorney General's office. You'll note from our proposal that the Attorney General does not sit on this commission, and that's done for the specific reason that someday again, fortunately or hopefully not, but the Attorney General could be the subject of allegations of corruption, of incompetence. This commission, functioning independently of the Attorney General, would allow that to take place, the vetting, the determination of whether or not a full-blown investigation and prosecution was necessitated.
When you say incompetence, is that to suggest that this commission could investigate mere incompetence and not things that rise to the level of corruption?
Of course not. And that's why I use the conjunction and. The two of them go hand in hand. I'm saying that the incompetence and the corruption are what the taxpayers and the residents of this state are fed up with. And many, many times it's that incompetence that can very well lead to public corruption. The two may go hand in hand. But obviously the focal point of the investigations that would be initiated, or authorized and initiated by this commission, would be public corruption violations. And not